Last Wednesday, the Fort Ordnance Primary School held its 22nd prize-giving ceremony. Details in this report. Fort Ordnance Primary School in East Kanji on Wednesday last hosted a graduation exercise for the 25 pupils who successfully sat the 2015 National Grade 6 Assessment earlier this year, gaining entry into secondary schools in the New Amsterdam Kanji area. Delivering the feature address at what was the school's 22nd prize-giving exercise was former pupil and now head teacher of Scape Mode Primary, Ms. Hemuti Bijaimal. In her address, she challenged parents to play a more involved role in the lives of their children.
Parents have to draw a line where parents start and where children begin. Because very often, the children lead us. And they take the place of the parent and the parents sit on the back bench. Because if a child gets up in the morning and say he's going to school, he's going. But you, as a parent, you got to say, well, here you're going to school today. Parents, we have our obligation, we have our duty, we have our responsibility towards our children. And please, let us function as parents and do not allow the children to override us. I am not saying we should become tyrants, because as these children go off to secondary school, they will come in contact with children from all walks of life, all kinds of influence. And at this time, our children need us more than anybody else. We've got to be their best friend. So that if something happens at school, you know, in the afternoon when you're cooking a roti and the child come home, you can come and say, you know, mommy, they got the child bothering me instead of going and confine in another student, where the other student will say, no, what we gonna bang here, we gonna bust tail.
Meanwhile, journalist and lecturer Janelle Williams, who is also a former pupil of the school, charged the graduates to know themselves, be firm in their convictions, and not crack under peer pressure.
Yourself. Don't let anyone define you for you. Take a minute to decide who you are, who you want to be, and how you're going to get there. Because when you go into high school, you're going to meet persons from different walks of life. Not to say you didn't meet such persons here, but you're going to be exposed to a vast variety. And sometimes we tend to lose ourselves. Sometimes we tend to get lost. Sometimes we tend to crack under peer pressure. And we have a lot of students not knowing who they are and stumbling through life. So first and foremost, know who you are in life and what you want to be. And when you know who you are, and when you have cemented yourself in who you are and what you want to be, then find your passion. Find something you're passionate about. In my time, we were exposed to not only academics, but we learned a lot of arts and craft at Fort Ordnance. During my years here, I learned to do knitting and sewing and fabric painting and tie-dyeing and gardening, skills that I know and I can do to this day. So we were exposed to a lot of things. Find your passion, find what it is that excites you, that is going to make you want to get up every morning and say, yes, this is what I'm going to do. Because year 1, year 2, year 3 at high school is going to evaporate so quickly. Time flies very fast. And by the time you're deciding or thinking what stream you want to be in, you should have a clear idea where you're headed in life. A lot of persons today, complete high school, they actually go to UG, have a degree, and still haven't decided what they want to do with their lives.
In delivering the head teacher's report, Ms. Roxanne Lynch expressed dissatisfaction in the role played by the Parent-Teacher Association over the past year.
Academically, we are thriving, though we are not yet there. We're not at that point where we want to be. 26 pupils were entered for the National Grade 6 Assessment 2015. Of the 26 entered, 25 wrote the exam. Of the 25, 4 secured places at the Tutorial Academy Secondary School, 5 secured places at Purvis Educational Institute, 7 at Kanji Secondary School, 3 for the Brahmins Irvin Secondary School, and 7 were entered into the 6-year program at the Kanji Secondary School, giving us an overall 76% pass rate. We are on the road to better performance with a well-qualified staff. What is needed is parental support. Our PTA body was elected to serve for the academic year. Unfortunately, the body existed only on paper. It is not functional. However, we had a few parents who, though not members of the executive body, lend their support to us whenever and if ever called upon.
The prize-giving exercise was graced with the presence of educator Ms. Ruth Jondu, who presented the top prize to the best graduating student, Mohammed Khan, and pledged her support in helping to reform the school.
I really feel a sense of honor today to be doing this on his behalf. I can proudly say, should be the launching of what would be an annual award for the top performer of the Fort Ordnance Primary School. At one time when I was the supervising district education officer for the school, you would have heard Janelli say the range of subjects the school was involved in. We did things that no other primary school did in this region. We did, Debbie, thank you. We did art and craft, more or less unheard of for a long while. And persons were saying, but she wasting the children's time. They got to do English and maths. Let me tell you this. If you want a generation of madmen and women, give them just English and maths. And I can stand anywhere and debate this topic without fear of being contradicted. Children must have a rounded education. And we had here Miss Cadogan. Everybody knows Miss Cadogan, whether you came to school here or not.
Yes.
And everywhere I went, I walked with Miss Cadogan, because she had all these skills in craft. We were able to share in those days. And I'm hoping that for the few days that I'm around at education, once again, I should tell you I'm retired, quite some time now. But I'm still lending some support in certain areas. I'm hoping that we could get back some of the things we have lost somewhere along the line. We have lost manners, we've lost discipline. We've lost subjects from our curriculum. We've lost parental support for the school system. You see parents when they bring their children to enroll them, and you see them on graduation day, if they find the time to come. But school doesn't work like that. School is a partnership. And if you want your child to be the best he or she can be, you've got to be there with that support. So I'm saying all of this to say that Fort Ordnance is expected to get back to where it was.
Trophies and gifts were presented to several pupils for their performances, including Mohammed Khan, Best Graduating and Best Science Student, Rajesh Kisto, Second Best Graduating and Best Language Student, Cordell Campbell, Third Best Graduating and Best Mathematics Student, Kobe Simon, Best Social Studies Student, and Shazim Khan, Most Cooperative Student. Small tokens were also presented to each of the graduates as encouragement to continue excelling. The graduation exercise was peppered with several cultural items, but arguably the most heartwarming item was a duet by the grade 6 teacher Dylan Thomas and head teacher Roxanne Lynch, who dedicated their song to the graduates.
Don't you ever wish you were someone else? You were meant to be the way you are exactly. Don't you ever say you don't like the way you are. When you learn to love yourself, you
Janelle Williams, Channel 8 News.